Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us today. Welcome to the COMSA virtual side event to the COP28. My name is Vanessa Vovor, and I'm the project manager for the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa at the GIZ. It is my pleasure today to welcome you to this virtual session titled Empowering Urban Africa, Sustainable Energy Solution for Sub-Saharan Cities, organized by the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa, which you will hear us call it COMSA or COMSSA in short today. We are here thanks to the support of our funders, the European Union, the German Ministry for Economic Development and Cooperation, the BMZ, and the Spanish Agency for Development, ACID, which we would like to warmly thank. I'm joined today by some esteemed speakers and panelists. Mrs. Vera Kellen from DG INPA, the European Commission, Honorable Cecily Mbarire, Governor of Embu County in Kenya, Mrs. Anatu Ibrahim, Head of Environment at the Abuja Municipal Area Council, and Honorable Abdul Mumin Issa, the Mayor of Sekondite Kuradi Metropolitan Area. I am very delighted to be with them today, all those speakers and panelists who will share their experience with planning, implementing, and financing sustainable energy actions at the local level in the Sub-Saharan region. Before we start, I'd like to mention that we unfortunately won't be able to open the floor for questions at the end of the panel discussion. However, you are more than welcome to pop your questions in the chat, and these questions will be brought to my attention by our COMSA team. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first speaker for some welcoming remarks, Mrs. Vera Kellen. Mrs. Kellen is a Program Manager and Policy Officer at the European Commission's Directorate General for International Partnerships. She has extensive experience managing global, regional, and national programs on climate change and disaster risk management, including in the context of Sub-Saharan Africa, where prior to her current role, she used to work at the EU delegation to Liberia. Ms. Kellen, very warm welcome to our session, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you to everyone who has joined us today for this online event. Today is the COP21 28 day dedicated to energy and industry, just transition and indigenous people. And I cannot think of a better day to bring us all together to discuss the experiences you've had under the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa. As you are aware, and also already mentioned by the moderator in the introduction, COMSA is really championed by the European Union in a full Team Europe spirit, with Germany, France, and Spain on our side since the beginning. It reflects our commitment to the global response to climate change and environmental degradation. I therefore want to extend a particularly thanks to the organizers of this event, ICLEI Africa as the host of COMSA Secretariat and Technical Help Desk, for which I hope they're not an unknown figure to anyone here today. And also our member state organizations, GIZ for the German Development Cooperation, AFD and Expertise France from the French side, and the Spanish Agency for International Development Cooperation. They have been long-standing engagement with us in the implementation of our support to COMSA. COMSA has really strengthened the Africa-EU partnership, and it fully aligns with the African Union Commission's agenda for 2063. And since its inception, COMSA has emerged as a powerful force. It has rallied commitment of over 360 local governments today, and these governments have affirmed their dedication to build resilient, low-carbon, and inclusive cities in Sub-Saharan Africa. What is a key milestone, though, for us is that this initiative has grown from a localized support to a fully fledged regional initiative with the establishment of the Regional Mayors Forum. And it is therefore also with warm thanks that I extend the welcome to the fellow speakers here today. Your city's commitment is inspiring, and we are very much eager to hear more about your strategies, how you employ them, and how you tackle the climate change challenges, particularly in the realm of sustainable energy. The primary objective of COMSA is to assist African cities in navigating these challenges, specifically from rapid urbanization and climate change. So our assistance has involved supporting local governments and planning and implementation, but with an emphasis on unlocking climate finance. Local governments have been put at the forefront of this COP, particularly over the last 2 days again with the Local Climate Action Summit. And I see this as a huge step forward for the international community, but also for climate change to recognize the local role and importance in leveraging climate action. Energy efficiency is at the heart of what the EU is doing, not only in Africa, but particularly in Africa. It is imperative that we work together towards a global clean and just transition to renewable energy. This means enabling conditions for the phase out of unabated fossil fuels with clear targets and timelines, but also reaping the low-hanging fruits of energy efficiency actions. The pivotal role of the cities and the regions in driving this transition is undeniable. Their action, and thereby your action in this engagement, your services, and also the resources you wield, have significant influence over the next years to come and how this transformative journey will look like. I therefore look forward very much to the rich insights and the outcomes of today's discussion. And I look forward to working together continuously still in the future with COMSA, the Sub-Saharan cities, to promote sustainability and build a more resilient, inclusive urban Africa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vera, for the warm welcome and especially for emphasizing the pivotal role that local governments and cities, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa, can play in that just transition. Before giving the floor to our next speaker, I'd like to introduce to the audience a short poll to kind of assess your perception, your opinion on what are the measures that are crucial to increase domestic investment in renewable energy in sub-Saharan cities. We'd like to know amongst those 4 options that you see on the floor and you can on the screen, sorry, and you can join by also scanning this QR code if you think that those measures should focus more on the policies at the national and subnational level, on phasing out of fossil fuels, on reducing import taxes on renewable energy equipment, or rather on creating an investment-friendly environment for domestic funds. So maybe I'll leave you just a few seconds to still fill in your answers. It seems like the audience is quite torn between the different options. At least the first 3 seem to receive equal number of votes. But I think we can leave it at that for now as a start, which is already some interesting insights that those first 3 options seems to stand out. Let's see then, after hearing from our speakers, if your opinion changes, evolves, or is confirmed. And to do so, I'd like to first welcome our first speaker, Honorable Cecily Mbarire, who's the governor of Embu County in Kenya. Governor Mbarire is the governor of Embu County, but also the chairperson of the United Democratic Alliance Party in Kenya, the chairperson of the Council of Governors Committee on Resource Mobilization, and a member of the Kenya National Dialogue Committee. And she used to serve in the National Assembly as a member of Parliament from 2002 until 2022 as one of the longest serving female members of the Parliament. Welcome, Governor. It's a pleasure to having you with us today. And I think for us, we're very keen to hear from you how a county like Embu envisions the acceleration to the shift to renewable energy and sustainable energy production while ensuring a just transition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanessa. Good afternoon. I take this opportunity, first of all, to say a big thank you for inviting me to this event and this meeting, and most importantly, for the recognition that you continue to give to sub-governments, sub-national governments in matters climate change, because we know that sub-governments, whether it is counties such as mine or local authorities, are the ones really dealing with communities on a day-to-day basis, and they're the ones having the full brunt of climate change effects at the community level, and therefore our engagement and involvement is very, very critical in ensuring that we are able to deal with the challenges facing us on a daily basis, and as we face the current challenges of climate change. As a county, we have been walking our talk by developing our sustainable energy access. And we have done so by, first of all, coming up with a climate adaptation plan as a county and climate action policies that will help us be able to face the challenges that we are facing. And I want to start by saying that Embu County is a county amongst 47 counties in Kenya. And we have several urban centers which are growing pretty fast, because with devolution and resources being able to go down at the grassroots, a lot of people are moving away from the big cities into the smaller urban centers and towns so that they can be able to start living there, and because of the opportunities that are available. And therefore, the issue of climate change and its effect on our towns and our urban centers is obviously a big challenge, especially so in the informal settlements that are developing in these towns. And we therefore have to deal with the issues around energy, which is a big challenge. And I want to say, because of the levels of inequality, not many people can afford clean cooking energy, especially the women. And therefore, as a county, we have a big program of ensuring that our women in the urban centers are able to afford accessible, affordable, clean energy for cooking. And they can also have energy to be able to light up their houses. And we are therefore working with a program of ensuring we get this energy available and accessible. And we are particularly focusing on solar energy, and therefore looking for partners who are willing to support us in this program. But as we do this, I would like us to, I have two main issues that I would like to raise. One of them is we want to emphasize that climate and the energy transition must leave no one behind. So the inclusivity of communities, the inclusivity of women especially, looking at all these challenges from a gender lens is very, very important for me as a woman, that we must realize that energy is as important to the women as it is to the men, and especially so the women at the lower levels of communities, the women who are facing high levels of poverty. We must be able to ensure that they are able to access energy, and we must involve them in looking for solutions around their energy needs so that they can be part and parcel of our plans and programs. And we can be able also, even as we provide the energy solutions, create jobs for the many young people that are jobless at the community level. And an example I'll give in the case of Embu is that we have an energy saving jiko that we are giving to women. But we have trained young people with the skills to be able to build those jikos and make it available to the women at an affordable price. So that way we are creating jobs for these young people. Finally, as we think about climate change and looking for solutions, it is of utmost importance that we prioritize the adaptation to climate impacts, so that we do not face this thing just on our own. And I think that is why, as Africa, that is most affected by climate change, as we have seen over the last couple of days, it is very, very clear the effect of climate change on Africa, that you really cannot deal with climate change if you're leaving Africa behind. And therefore, I really want to appreciate the fact that you are finding it important to work with COMSA, so that we can look for solutions from Africa, and we can be able to provide the necessary climate finance that will make us able to sort the issues affecting us. So if you really want to act on climate change, if you really want real impact on climate change, you cannot leave Africa behind. And so we are requesting that we make possible the financial support that is necessary for African nations to be, and urban centers, cities, to be able to face this challenge of climate change. Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Governor Mbarire, for this strong message, indeed, to not leave no one behind, and especially not Africa behind, and to emphasize the importance on applying a gender lens to any energy solutions identified. For this, I would also just like to recommend to all of our audience watching us to take a quick look at the COMSA website, where we actually have provided a series of resources on how to apply that gender lens to any energy or climate project identified by local government. Thank you for this important reminder, Governor.
Thank you.
Moving from the experience of Embu in East Africa to West Africa now, I'd like to warmly welcome and introduce Mrs. Anatu Huenene Ibrahim, who is the head of environment at the Abuja Municipal Area Council. And as the head of department, she's at the forefront of enforcing adherence to the environment laws in the Abuja municipality. And her expertise, especially in coordinating health education programs, actually has a pivotal role in developing and executing all the initiatives when it comes to raising awareness and community awareness in the city. So thank you for being with us, Mrs. Ibrahim. It's a pleasure. And we would like to ask you your opinion on what can a sub-Saharan African city such as Abuja, looking for innovative financing models and collaboration mechanisms, do to attract increased investments in renewable energy. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm especially happy to be a part of this family. It has been a long journey for us as Abuja Municipal Area Council. As you're aware, cities face there are impacts climate change due to the concentration of people coming into the city center. There's the issue of urbanization and issues of other smaller issues like very small issues that will mean a lot, like the issues of tree planting and other things that are part of our challenges in such areas. The main drivers of greenhouse in a city are also determined by the economic base of the city. And for sure, these energy patterns, they also affect, they are as a result of our weather conditions too, and also affect some of these things that are really happening within the city centers. In working with cities to tackle effects of climate change, the city of the municipal has identified major entry points for grassroots sustainability development and climate change intervention. I would want to bring to the mind of the populace that in Abuja Municipal Area Council, urbanization too it's a key thing, because people want to live here, people want to have a good life here, because the infrastructure is better than many of the states within the country. So you will see an influx of people coming to stay here. And what this means is that, of course, there will be some kind of pressure on the infrastructures that we have that are already existing. There are also man-made issues that can come as a result of this. Flooding, for example, when you have plastics and other things that go into the drainage or are placed in wrong places. And when the rains comes, of course, they create floods that are not created naturally, but because of the activities of people that live within here. The challenges of working at the municipal level, especially in Abuja Municipal Area Council, has shown over the years that municipal lack access to technical knowledge in areas of project development, feasible studies, sourcing, financing models, and a general lack of understanding of how to engage with investors. So in areas like this, issues of inadequate fundings are also things that will be highlighted in such an area. For example, the issue of waste management, which is a very is a problem, is a challenge, a great challenge within the city center. What do we feel about such issues? For us at the municipal, we have resolved that the issue of a recycling plant would be the best solution, because when the waste is reused, or the refuse I would refer to is properly used, then we'll definitely not see this refuse hanging around. So the collaboration of Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa, COMSA, has done a lot in transferring this knowledge and capacity to be able to robust the project preparation and implementation strategies in the council. For instance, 2021, Abuja Municipal Area Council collaborated with COMSA, and this led to the production of an AMAC Sustainable Energy Access Climate Action, what we call and refer to as the CCAP. This is the document that is here, and this is a document that is like a roadmap to what we want to do in Abuja Municipal Area Council, and it also has a timeline to 2030. So with this CCAP document, we already have a roadmap. This is what we refer to as our Bible here. So we can follow up what there are the things that are the action plan. We have the adaptive pillar, which has 13 actions that is identified within 5 sectors. And this includes environmental health, water supply, food and agriculture, environment and forestry, as well as waste management and sanitation. The mitigation pillar also has 3 action plans covering the energy sector, the transportation, and waste sector. These were identified by AMAC to be able to say this will stop some of these things or increase some of these things by 2030. The access to adaptation pillar has 11 actions, and that is what we are talking about today. The priority for it is access to electricity, sustainable energy, and then access to clean cooking. Consequence to this, COMSA developed 2 approaches of intervention based on the priority needs identified, and this led to the development of the Urban Lab and the Urban Smart Lab, the Urban Smart Energy, which are products of the COMSA collaboration. With respect to the access to energy, one of the priority actions identified as installation of the PVs at the public facilities like the primary healthcare, the schools, and the markets. In this area, the Urban Smart Energy product from the COMSA has provided a lot of support to AMAC through its standardization of the Urban Smart Energy approach, with covering signing approval, remote screening, the technical evaluation, economic access to the sites, and then presentation of results to the local government. We have the tendering process too. We have the final agreement. We have the project implementation, monitoring, and evaluation, of course, to sum all these things. I would like to say that COMSA is a combination of innovative and suitable financing model, bridging the gap between the municipal and the access to suitable and innovative financing models and collaboration mechanism. From my experience as AMAC, the benefits of such collaboration with COMSA, the benefits of such elaboration with COMSA has also led to that increased capacity in the municipal in the area of climate transition, knowledge, and planning and preparation for the project. This has helped us greatly. For instance, the executive chairman, which you refer to as the mayor, Honorable Christopher Megalango of AMAC, has provided interventions in renewable energy. He has been strict on such things. Since 2022, we have provided more than 30 boreholes that are provided by AMAC, are solar-based. And these numbers are increasing. We have 3 powered solar mini grids that serve 20 communities, and over 1 million people are benefiting from this as we speak. We also have solar lightnings that are installed in the AMAC Secretariat. We decided that since we are going solar, we should be the first to change our ways. Change begins with me, as we all say. So we started with the AMAC Secretariat, and as I speak, we're on solar powered now. Under the collaboration with COMSA, we have about 300 sites that are being assessed for this installation of solar energy. And these 300 sites consist of the primary health cares, we have the primary schools, and the markets that are involved. As you know, as a local government, all these 3 sites are really under our preview 100%. Finally, the Abuja Municipal Area Council is happy with the support from the COMSA and is desirous to continue the collaboration till we get to the set targets in the SICA project. Thank you so much, and we appreciate this chance given to us to be able to say what the journey has been like since 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ibrahim, for sharing your experience with COMSA, especially since the launch of your Sustainable Energy Access and Climate Action Plan, and all those details. That sounds very also exciting as to see how the implementation seems to be going, and also we're excited to see where it leads in the future. Thanks a lot. I'd like now to introduce, last but not least, our Honorable Abdul Mumin Issa, who's the Mayor of Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Administration. And Mayor is also the Chief Executive of Sekondi Takoradi. And we will be very pleased to hear from you your recommendation as a quite recent signatory to the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa and Ghana. What would be your recommendation to Sub-Saharan cities to improve and attract more investment for renewable energy?
Thank you for the opportunity given. Let me first of all extend my warm felicitation from the chief and good people of Ghana, the oil city of Sekondi Takoradi, and incidentally, the only twin city in our country. We are grateful for being part of this global event. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate the effort you've made so far in bringing us to this event. Let me first of all state that we at STMA do know, and I believe it cuts across Sub-Saharan Africa, the cities in Sub-Saharan Africa, that we know that large number of our citizens do not have access to energy in most cities in Sub-Saharan Africa. And to continue addressing both access to energy and transition to sustainable energy, we first need to accurate and up-to-date data. And second, we need access to financing for sustainable energy projects. COMSA cities have committed to create sustainable energy access and climate action plan. That is CCAP. And we are grateful to COMSA that STMA has started working on our CCAP this year and will finish the process by the middle of 2024, which include collecting data on energy access and the type of energy being used in our city. These plans help us to be able to identify the priority areas for action and get better understanding of the current situation in our cities. The data can also give the cities a leverage and information they need to be able to approach the private sector and secure investment. But Sekondi Takoradi have already started to take action through a project we are doing dubbed Twin City in a Sustainable Partnership with our sister city in Palermo, which is being financed by the European Union, of which we are very much grateful at. What this project sought to do is to mitigate the effect of climate change, and some of the things that we have started doing in Sekondi Takoradi, we have planted over 40,000 trees all across the city, of which we are still continuing. Secondly, we are also set up a training workshop where youth are being trained on how to construct clean cooking ovens to some of our most vulnerable citizens, women who are smoking fish and cooking with open flames and smoke, whose health is at risk due to poor air quality. Through our COMSA partnership, we are assessing our own public buildings for renewable energy solution, and we hope to work in partnership with the private sector as well. By example, and to prove that investment in the renewable energy in cities is not only possible, but it is mutually beneficial and can be scaled across cities in Sub-Saharan Africa. SCMA has also a green building policy that can be used to encourage private developers to include renewable energies on the new development. In Ghana and across Sub-Saharan Africa, we as city leaders are also encouraging young people and entrepreneurs to develop clean energy solutions here in Africa. In Sekondi Takoradi, we have built, like I mentioned earlier, a youth training center where the youth are being trained in constructing clean cook stove, learning to install and maintain solar PV panels and other systems. And I believe this will go a long way to create job for our youth, and also our fishmongers will get a cleaner energy source to be able to smoke their fish. Some of the challenges we are facing as a city is that since Ghana found oil, and the oil is within the enclave of Sekondi Takoradi, there has been large migration from other parts of Ghana to Sekondi Takoradi, which is also having a toll on our climate change challenges. Let me say, what we have started doing is we have urban mobility and transport project plan, which we want to initiate. The assembly wants to set up a solar panel assembly plant and a citywide smart waste management project. Because of the influx of the people, we have challenges in collecting all the waste that is generated within the metropolis, and this is a great there will be a great relief for us as a city managers if through COMSA and other funding agencies can support us in this direction, so that together we can adapt the climate change policy and also have a resilient city to live in. This is my little submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Muinis Abdul, for those contribution, and also highlighting the reality of a city like Sekondi Takoradi in the space of Ghana, and the additional pressure on your current infrastructure with the effects of climate change. And thanks a lot for this. I would like to actually go back to the initial poll that we used earlier and take a look at this together now. You are welcome to again share your thoughts and vote for what you identify as a priority measure when it comes to increasing domestic investment in renewable energy in sub-Saharan cities. We see that the results are changing slightly from earlier. So before we heard from our esteemed guests from Embu County, Abuja, and Sekonti Takoradi, it seemed that there was a fair share of disparities between, should we focus on policies as well as phasing out fossil fuels and create investment-friendly environment. But now it seems that there is one strong winner or prioritized approach coming out of from the polls. It keeps changing, so keep voting. But I still see that the predominant measure recommended from the floor would be to implement comprehensive policies and national, subnational strategies with clear target setting for renewable energy adoption, closely followed by creating investment-friendly environment for those funds. Very interesting results, and I think they actually sum up and reflect pretty well on the contribution we've heard from our speakers today. I think we've all heard from 3 different local governments in different sub-region of Sub-Saharan Africa that one current challenges that they all face is this additional pressure on the infrastructure, the kind of internal migration happening towards urban centers that are more and more affected by the effects of climate change. And at the same time, the same observation that local governments wish to be more equipped or engage more with investors and the private sector. I think that's something we've heard from both Sekonti Takoradi and Amak, for example, in Abuja. But in general, the different approaches or strategy differ slightly. They all seem to highlight the support of the COMSA approach, but especially showcasing that they've not waited to take action. So the 3 of them have started a process of either collecting data, setting up a plan or strategy already, be it a CCAP or another form of energy access plan. So the cities in Africa are not standing behind, but are already taking actions when it comes to planning and implementing action. However, there's still this need for increased climate finance flowing and especially engaging more directly in financial mechanism to be put in place and implemented. I see our audience keeps voting, and even though the figures keep changing, the emphasis on the comprehensive policy at the national and subnational level still to be the one winning. But I will also just like to wrap this up, also to mention and emphasize a point I was also highlighted by our 3 speakers around the need to, and the solutions identified, to make sure that we leave no one behind, that we apply a gender lens, and that the solution also create local jobs. So this is also something that has seemed to be dear to the attention of our local government. I just wish to give a last chance to everyone to pop your question in the chat, because luckily we still have a few minutes. So even though the setting does not allow us to entertain a Q&A session per se, if there are questions that you are dying to ask our panelists, please feel free to pop them in the chat so we can still highlight that to them. Otherwise, I'm also very happy to thank you again for your participation and your attendance. Please note that you are more than welcome to subscribe to our newsletter, where every quarter we share with you the updates on the work of our large network. As Mrs. Kellen mentioned, we have over 350 local governments who have joined the Covenant of Mayors, who have committed to tackle the effects of climate change and increase access to energy in their municipalities. And by subscribing to our newsletter, you can also follow what are the latest updates within the network and have opportunities to exchange experiences and engage in this peer learning as well. So yeah, I would like to warmly thank you, all of our esteemed speakers, and from Embu, Abuja, Sekanti Takoradi, and from Brussels. So thank you all for joining us in person and online. Please note that the session has been recorded and will be made available on the YouTube channel. So do not hesitate to share the link with those who were not able to join us today. Thank you again for your engagement, your participation, and for highlighting the great work that Sub-Saharan cities are doing within COMSA. Thank you and see you next time.
Thank you very much for having us.